Hey guys, so today I'm going to do a video about something. I'm going to do a video about my transgender experience. Yeah. Or I'm going to do a video about my, I can't remember what the word is like my identity crisis. I'm not really sure what the word is. I'm sorry. I've forgotten. I know, I'm terrible. But I have gone through identity, it might be dysphoria or dysmorphia or something. I know, I've forgotten the terms. It's so annoying when I forget words. But you know what? If when I edit this video I remember the words, I will put it somewhere on the screen, as text to say I meant to say this, like a lot of YouTubers do. So, yeah. I'm going to try and make this one a really short video because it's really late and I've got to make dinner. But I promised you guys a video about it because when I do my live streams I kind of talked a little bit about it, but only a little bit. I said I was going to go more in detail with a proper video, especially about the subject, so that you guys can get to know me a bit better. Okay, so it's a weird thing really. And my mum didn't really believe, like that I was transgender. For real. I didn't really go around bandying that term because I didn't know the term when I was younger, but she didn't really believe that I was that kind of person who, was a boy trapped in a girl's body. So, yeah, it's a weird one. When I was growing up, I absolutely loved being a girl, and I hated boys. Like I liked some boys obviously, but overall I really didn't like boys, and I didn't like the idea of being one or being associated with them in any way, as in, like someone thinking that I could pass off as a boy or whatever. I didn't want to be like a boy at all, because I was like, growing up I was like the girliest girl ever. So I guess that's why my mum didn't really believe that later on when I expressed wanting to be a male. She didn't really believe it because I did go through a phase where I really loved being a girl and I was like really girly and I loved pink and I wanted to be a princess, and I wasn't like one of those delusional children who really, like, that people talk about these days, like, oh, we should ban Disney princesses because all girls believe that they are a princess and that they're going to find the Prince Charming or whatever, or they're going to have a happily ever after. And, they all want to always ban that sort of thing. And I'm like, why? It's just fantasy. Like, I knew it was fantasy. I just like pretending to be a princess, like dressing up and stuff, like most girls do. Most girls don't take it like that seriously, so I didn't. My mummy taught me from a young age that whatever you see on telly is not real, and it's not going to happen to you just because it's happened to them, on the telly, whether it be like a film, a Disney princess film or whatever. So instead of banning Disney princess stuff, people should just teach their children that this stuff's not real from an early age, like I was, because I didn't really take it seriously. And I was kind of glad about that because some things I saw on telly, terrified me, and I was glad that they don't really happen. So anyway, sorry, my fringe, it really needs cutting. It's really annoying me. So I wanted to share with you guys my sort of identity crisis story. So yeah, girly girl growing up. But the only reason I didn't like boys was, I didn't like young boys. And I didn't like the idea of being one because I thought that they were gross, and I thought that they dressed really scruffy, and, I just didn't like them at all. I didn't want to be one, Obviously I had boys that I liked, like my friends, I liked them. But I didn't want to be like one of them, But then growing up, when I was about, my mum reckoned I was about 10, but I was actually 12 when this happened. I was about 12 when I first started expressing wanting to be male. And apparently, according to my mum, when I was 10, I used to talk about how I wanted to be male because I saw the way that she got treated as a female. And my mum used to always talk, she used to talk like, well, you know, if I was male, they wouldn't treat me like that. If I was male, this wouldn't happen and that wouldn't happen, you know, bad things or people treating her like crap. My mum just always used to say, oh, I'm treated like crap because I'm female. We get treated like this because I'm a single female parent living on her own with a child, you know, that sort of thing. So I guess she thought when I talked like this that, you know, I got it drummed into my head that it's sort of better to be male because males get treated better than females. At least they did back then. You know, back then we didn't have like all this feminism stuff like we do now. At least it wasn't as like talked about. It wasn't as, you know, shoved in your face as it is now with all this social justice warrior stuff. It wasn't like that back then. So women were still, I suppose, generally treated like crap. Not all of them, because there were some women that were like really savvy and really deviant and devious, and you know, that would actually play the system and use the system. Like, you know, like a lot of people complained about how it's sexist for like female employees to like sleep with the boss to get promotions and stuff, and a lot of people complained about that sort of thing and raises and stuff like that. But, you know, my mum pointed out that a lot of women did that consensually, you know, they agreed to do it and they were quite willing to do it to get ahead, you know. So, you know, not all women are victims, really. I know a lot of women who, you know, sort of do things to get ahead, and they're actually quite willing to do all these things that people complain about now. So it's not like really that they, you know, had no choice and they were forced into it like people are acting like. It's like all that talk about those like, oh, those people in the media that they're all going on about being like paedophiles now. My mum said probably a lot of the girls actually sort of initiated it, so, you know, you can't completely blame the man because they were sort of intoxicated, you know, they were on drugs, you know, like drink a lot, and he was like also drunk on fame and stuff. So, you know, you can't completely 100% blame the man for sort of just going along with it in their intoxicated state when the girls were like all over them and, you know, that sort of thing. And I can't name many names because I can't really remember what celebrities it was now, but it's like really old school celebrities that have now, everybody's coming out saying, oh yes, he did it to me as well, and, you know, he's a bad person, now he's dead, you know, let's speak ill of the dead, and let's drag out all this mud now, you know, that sort of thing. So I'm just saying a lot of women were the instigators even back then, so, you know, but there were still women who were victims and were treated like crap specifically because they were women or used or whatever. So that's what I picked up on with my mum, because she was like that sort of woman, you know, that, you know, she's going to get all the bad sort of men like treating her like crap, you know, just because she's a woman. So she used to talk a lot about that. And so according to my mum, I just wanted to be male because I didn't want to get treated the same way as she got treated. And I used to express that apparently. But I don't really 100% remember that. I just remember when I was 12 and I really felt like I should be male. But it wasn't for those reasons that she thought, that apparently I had expressed to her, which I don't remember. You know, the getting treated like crap part. So according to her, the only reason why I wanted to be male was because I wanted to be treated better. But that's not really strictly true. I mean, it's partly true, you know, it's like a bonus, I guess, but that's not like the reason why I wanted to be a boy. I like really did feel like I should be male. I thought it was better to be male. Not because of anything specific like that, but just better to be male just because, you know, for the sake of being male, because just being male better. I don't know. Like, I didn't have any reasons like, oh yes, it's better to be male because da 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 da. Like, now I've got reasons. It's like in my head now I can actually say, well, it's better to be male because, you know, when you have kids, you don't have to go through the pregnancy part, you don't have to go through your labour, you don't have to go through the pain and the vomiting of the pregnancy and whatever, you know, comes with pregnancy that's unpleasant, and then you don't have to go through the birth, the pain, and the possible depression afterwards, and you know, it's and the hormone imbalances and changes. You know, you don't have to go through all that as a male, so you could be a father, but you don't have to go through all that. You just deposit your sperm, and then that's you done. So that's one good thing. Another good thing is they don't have to deal with fucking boobs, which I find a pain in the ass. Like a lot of women, you know, they love them, and if they don't have them, they get upset. And if they do have them, they say it's great, and they consider it an asset or whatever. Like, you know, you don't know what you're talking about. Because those of us who really do have big boobs, you know, it's horrible, and I hate it. So, you know, being a bloke is better because you get to be flat-chested, and I always thought that being flat-chested, you know, growing up, because obviously when I was a child I used to be flat-chested, and I found it really pleasant time. When I started developing boobs, I found it was really difficult, and, you know, they were just an inconvenience. Like, even when they were the tiniest, I just found them, I felt like I had to be really gentle now, really careful, whereas before I could just rough and tumble and not have a care in the world. And also, I wasn't ashamed of my body. I found that when I started developing boobs, I was more ashamed of my body, whereas before, I could just go naked, like, in public. I didn't care. It was like, yay, you know. But when I developed breasts, I felt more self-conscious, more self-aware, you know. Like, I was really aware of them. And at first, they were sort of a novelty, and I got excited sort of when I first started developing them, because it was something different, it was something new, and I got to go bra shopping with my mum, which was kind of exciting at the time. But I quickly sort of learnt that it wasn't so great having them, because they started to hurt. And like I say, the bras were annoying. You got shoulder straps falling off, you had them riding up at the back, slightest movement you made, you had them falling out, and I just didn't feel supported. Like I do now. I've got this bra, which is like the most supportive bra I've ever had in my life, which I only just discovered when I was about 25, like 25 years too late. Well, not quite, you know, from whenever I started developing boobs to 25 years too late. I think I started developing them at 9. So yeah, from then on, too late, you know. I wish I'd discovered this kind of bra like soon after developing them, because it would have just made life a lot easier. Because I was the kind of kid who, you know, liked to roll around and sort of walk on all fours, because I used to like to pretend to be an animal. And yeah, I used to hate the fact that when I did that, they were all falling out of the bra and it was riding up and ugh. So yeah, it was just an absolute pain in the ass. I don't really know how girls cope, but apparently they all love it. But I guess they didn't do the kind of thing I did at that age. Like, I guess they had grown out of playing and stuff by that age. I don't know, really. But anyway, that's my experience anyway. Because the majority of girls apparently like having boobs, or were, like, disappointed if their boobs weren't big. Like, it's like you're 10. Like, wait to grow into them, you know. They might get bigger with age, so... But they used to complain at, like, age 12 or whatever that the boobs were not big enough. And it's like, you're 12. You know, give it a chance, they'll grow. I told that to my friend who... My friends complained about having small boobs, and I'm like, but you're 14 or whatever. They'll grow in time. You know, you're still a kid. You're still developing. So I told her that at the time, even though in my mind I'm thinking, how could, you know, why do you want big boobs? It's like, in my head I've actually been sort of like racking my brains, like, why do women want big boobs? I don't actually see why it's an asset. To me, it was annoying, and I hated it. I didn't like the way they looked. I didn't like the way they felt. I was very aware of them. I didn't like it. And I still don't, because now they're like bigger than ever before, and I hate it. I absolutely hate it now. But I'm more secure in myself now than I was before. And I don't, you know, I'm sort of used to them now. But I still don't like them, but I'm used to them. So I don't feel as bad now. But I still don't like them. I'd still rather them not have them. Or have smaller ones at least. But anyway, so when I was about 12, I started out with like personas, male personas. I'm gonna cut this and I'm gonna start again.